Tony Nyiam joins us now. He's a retired Army colonel. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
Already, I see Enzo, who says Nigerian Air Force technically identifies possible location of abducted Chibok girls. He says, And so you have a lot of people saying, look, that comment from the Air Force telling us, okay, well, they know where the girls are. But on the other hand, you have the former president saying, look, whoever tells you they know where the girls are, it's a lie. What do we make of those comments?
It's reassuring to hear the Air Force spokesman giving indications that they may have clues to where they are. But I would rather go rather and say that our inability so far not to have found these long kidnapped Chibok girls is actually indicative of the gaps in our security architecture. And what I mean is that in most other countries which are successful in tackling the sort of threats we have, as it were, 4-to-1 plainclothes security agents to one uniformed member of the armed forces or agents. So far, we're relying too much on the standing army people in uniform. Usually, the intelligence is usually 4 times the people.
But we've got the DSS, don't we?
Pardon?
The DSS also
Under
in
strength.
on this one.
Under strength. Poor. The chaps are doing their best.
What about the DMI?
They are all still, is compared to what intelligence, in other words, the strength of our intelligence community is very low. And the amount of money we put into intelligence community is low. Now, intelligence community requires, it's always a big outfit. If you go to other countries, and it's funded in a massive way. For example, they need for incentives for those who are the operatives to spend their money, to get information. What have we done? Instead, we have we are not using the local community. There's no integration of local community in our intelligence gathering.
Which community?
Sorry, local communities.
Oh, okay.
Local communities. Okay. I mean, this was the point I think the Sultan, Alhaji Muhammad Saad Bakar, was recently, a few days ago, made that there's a need for integrating traditional rulers and religious institutions into the national security architecture. That's one. He made that critical point. And another man who made a point which is worth looking back is former senator, distinguished senator, and former minister of Internal Affairs, Major General Muhammadu Magoro. He was really blamed the Borno people that, according to his briefing by the governor, 80% of the Boko Haram are Kanuri people. And that if they had cooperated with the government, that these things wouldn't have gone far.
But the jury
we're not using, the intelligence is very poor, and we're not involving the local people in the intelligence gathering.
About the local people,
Yes.
we have the civilian JTF made up of Borno people,
Sure.
hunters, many of them getting in, risking their lives to be part of this. So would it be a fair commentary if you say the Borno people were not using the local community as much?
First of all, the elements you've mentioned, the civilian JTF, they are fighters. They are not intelligence gatherers.
No, it's about local people coming in to lend their own support in whichever way they can.
Like I've said, these guys are vigilantes fighting. But intelligence is that even in families, there are people who should be given information. You should have enough incentives to give as much information. But it's because of the lack of information that there's still intelligence failures all over the place.
You know, we've had people come on the program, just like yourself, who were in the army to proffer solution. And we've also had the privilege of having someone who's worked with the civilian JTF come on the program.
Yes.
And when they talk, they seem to have strong insight, just like the way you would come and say things. Is there a law or a rule or a tradition in the Nigerian military that stops them from meeting or reaching out to some of these people and draw from their expertise?
Very good point. In fact, if you are an intelligence operator, that is your catchment area. There's no law. The training is that you get the people involved. That's the training. But I think what has happened so far is that the intelligence are not they're not well funded to be able to reach out to people as they should have. So far, what is supposed to be money used for intelligence is what is you're now hearing as security votes being kept by people and being used for personal enrichment.
The states also have their security votes.
Indeed.
What do they do with
it? It's for intelligence. The local government also supposedly have security votes for intelligence. We are not investing in intelligence. You see, take for example, I go to India. You go to India in an estate, you would see 2 security men visible in an estate, running up and down. But they have local people there working. The person in the kiosk selling is an intelligence informer. So the moment there is any threat, they just call these those in standby who will just come in and deal with the situation. In our own case, every house has security megas and all that. And how can they be effective?
What do you make of all of this? Coincidence, or maybe we're getting some information here? First, we saw the senator who said Boko Haram is still in charge of 3 local government areas in Borno State. Then we had the governor, and even his aide was here on the program to say, no, that's not entirely correct. And we had former President Obasanjo saying, if you're hoping to find the Chibok girls, perish that thought. And just as we're trying to grapple with all of this, we heard from the Nigerian Air Force that, wait a minute, we have an idea of where these girls are. In the mix of all of this, because these are information coming to us, where do you place the rescue of the Chibok girls, which is very paramount and key to the people of Chibok and even Nigeria?
First of all, I must say that I did watch the representative of the governor in your program, and he was very careful in not completely ruling out what the senator said. I think the senator was courageous because, you see, for a change, a man came out and he's a senator of the area. He should know better. He came out to say what he said. 2 things are involved in it. You see, I've been very worried about the usual doublespeak in our language. Suddenly, there's an adjective added to defeat, technical defeat. There's nothing like that to say technical defeat. What is defeat? There's either defeat of Boko Haram or there's no defeat. So this adjective we brought in.
Yeah, but could it be, because don't forget, he took a tour with military for...
No, I'm saying the adjective technical defeat is never heard in any country or in military.
Was it not the military that suggested it to him? Could it not be?
No.
Because after he went on that tour, because he visited military formations.
No, I'm suggesting that it's all the usual doublespeak. You see, what we have gone through, and the president needs to be brought to his notice. We started a war, which was an insurgency war. The insurgents decided to go the conventional way of capturing ground. And we commend our armed forces to have recaptured the land and to have ensured that the Boko Haram are not ruling any part of Nigeria as they were. But we cannot extend that to say that we defeated the Boko Haram. The Boko Haram war still continues because it's a mistake for anybody. Like I heard someone saying that, the Boko Haram main strength, they are an irregular army. What they are doing now is what they are good at, which is strike and disappear into the public. Here again, that's why the emphasis for intelligence is so crucial.
Did they disappear into the public?
Yeah, when they hit. Those who They are in the communities. How do they come in and strike?
The fact that they get into the public gatherings and detonate them.
No. The community is bigger than the public a crowd. What I mean by, say, in an area of Borno, they go and hit, and then the person who is remote controlling the little girl going there is there. It's somewhere in the community. I'm saying that it is intelligence. It is involving the local people much more actively that can give us information as to. Without intelligence, you cannot succeed in defeating the Boko Haram war. You see, what we defeated is the conventional battles.
So what then? I mean, if you agree that we've completed the conventional battles,
we can go back to it again.
Yeah. What then do you make of the argument or the debate going on between the three local governments within the control of Boko Haram? Oh no, we've emptied them. It's just that these people go and come. What do you make of that sort of argument?
The senator was right in pointing out that there is still a dangerous threat of Boko Haram in 3 local government areas. You cannot fault him for saying so. Because anybody who comes here and makes anything should go and drive his car in the local government and see whether he can drive safely. The fact that there's threat is there imminent. And I must commend that senator for speaking the truth and for correcting the impression which has always been carried away that we've technically defeated. There's no terminology like technically defeated. You either have defeated or not. And like I'm saying, there are battles, there's a war. Battles are sequences in war. We are still in a war. And make no mistake, you are yet still to. I commend the army for doing its best with the little resources they have, for doing its best. I think we need to involve and invest much more in our intelligence.
Where would you say we are in that war? I mean, if we say that you differentiated between insurgency and terrorism, and
yes,
you say that we've been able to quell to a large extent the insurgency, the fact that they're taking territories, but the terrorism is still there.
No. Sorry, because there's this, every time I get this program, they mix up the words insurgency and terrorism as if it's, there is regular standing army ways of operating and irregular. Irregular is what started this war. The Boko Haram people are irregular. That is, they are people who are not soldiers, standing army. And their modus of operandi is what we see them started with, and they've gone back to it.
Does it give any indication of where it is that we could be in the war?
What we've done is that we have to commend the armed forces and to commend the president for bringing the will to reclaim our territories that were captured, which was much, much more insultive to any military man. But now that we've recaptured, we are now back to the stage of the war we started with, which is the war of an irregular, conventional guerrilla warfare type of war. And so we need to mobilize the people. It's a war that involves the people much more than anybody at the tactical level. And at the strategic level, it also involves giving hope to the people in terms of trying to address the self-determination aspirations of the people. Because otherwise, if people didn't have some self-determination problem, the people would not have been covering up what is now become a crisis we cannot handle.